A country with a storied past and a colorful tapestry of culture, Pakistan is at a pivotal moment in its history. As we witness the severe magnitude of our decline, it is becoming increasingly clear that it is time to rethink Pakistan, a state that falls prey to relentless cycles of challenges, yet is filled with untapped capacity. Reshaping the future of Pakistan requires a shared commitment to all our responsibilities and a strong determination to find bold responses that go beyond conventional boundaries. It demands the manifestation of a leader's attire in all of us as responsible citizens of this nation. Living up to the expectations of a leader is what one of the ideals of round square leadership expects from us. Only when we all adopt into our second nature the round square discovery framework of tenacity, problem solving, and sense of responsibility can then we prevent this ship of ours from sinking. However, before reimagining Pakistan, it is important to highlight recurrent challenges and our responsibilities and responses towards them. Political instability. In the turbulent sea of Pakistan's political landscape flows waves of internal challenges that seem difficult to overcome. Our book of law lacks proper and strict regulations, leading to loopholes, which people take unfair advantage of. From this statistic, Pakistan's score in terms of effective law enforcement has dropped down to as low as negative 1.00, highlighting the unstable system of our laws. One reason for this is the frequent changes in leadership that hinder long-term policy implementations, resulting in parties blaming one another for mismanagements. Moreover, there has often been inadequate distribution of powers amongst the three branches of government, namely the judicial, executive, and legislative. This is what leads to the abuse of authority and intermittent corruption. So, are there any ways common people like us all change the footing of politics in our country, you may ask? And the answer is yes. By joining youth organizations, we can conduct seminars, bring out protest rallies, raise political awareness, representing citizen accountability. Participating in movements like Alamgir Khan's Fix It, which works on issues undermined by politicians, will empower us to address inefficiencies head-on. Supporting litigation against political inefficiency combats governance failures, as seen with the Shahri Citizens Organization's demolition of 300 legal structures in Karachi. Finally, active engagement in debates and discussions can equip us with the knowledge needed to resolve political issues, as exemplified by our cadets' involvement in Round Square-inspired Sci Global debates and MUNs. Social polarization. For those who are unaware, social polarization is when subgroups are formed within a large group on the basis of social, cultural, regional, religious, and socioeconomic differences. According to the SAT portal, we witnessed over 5,700 sectarian-related tragedies between 2002 and 2020. Lately, there have been a relatively low number of terrorist attacks, but during the interval of 2007 to 2009, these activities witnessed a great unexpected increase, highlighting the recurrent nature of the challenge. Another concern is of provincial rivalries, which seem to get better at times, but insurgencies keep recurring. Movements against gender bias and inequality have also seen partial successes, but as they become dormant, their progress reverses casually. Now that I've mentioned the social tensions underlying our nation, where can we all, as Pakistanis, improvise? And where do we need to improve? By hosting functions that challenge sectarian divides, we can bring sectarian divides to a null. And a perfect example for this is Zarb Qalam, a notable project led by our artists who convey these messages via art exhibitions. Conduction of frequent cultural exchange programs like the annual Lok Virsa Festival will allow us to put our regional and cultural differences aside. We should also extend opportunities for education, vocational training, and psychological support to extremists and terrorists, providing them a second chance in our society. Through training programs, we can equip women of the lower class with the knowledge and skills required for financial independence, aiming to nullify the gender bias gap. Promotion of interfaith harmony is also essential. And thus it is an honor for me to state here that CCH, under the banner of PRCS, adopts this practice by establishing medical camps for their sick brethren during the Vaisakhi festivals. Unemployment and deteriorating educational system. Throughout our history, a significant portion of people have struggled to meet their basic needs due to slow job growth rates and less employment opportunities. As it is visible from this graph here, our per capita income growth has fluctuated greatly through the course of history, hitting the rock bottom with negative 2.05 in 2008, while reaching its highest in 2016. As for education, our literacy rate lingers around a low 60%. If I may have your attention towards this slide now, this demographic here shows a very stagnant increase in primary education from 1991 to 2018. And if we follow along this trend, it is of no surprise that 23 million children were out of school in 2022. Furthermore, due to the lack of good universities, our students prefer to move overseas to pursue higher education, with the count being over 65,000 just in 2021. It is essential to address the issues of education, skill development, and unemployment if our youth is to prove competitive in the global world and bring prosperity back to Pakistan. By encouraging the elite of Pakistan to establish philanthropic trusts for community schools like Talim Sabke Liye by TCF and hosting social fundraising events like game nights, we can provide quality education to remote areas free of cost. Workshops for industrialists and educationalists on industry-relevant education, research internships, and partnerships would help to create a redefined educational curricula based on practical learning and critical thinking. One case study of a figurehead that we should aspire to be is that of Dr. Umar Saif, who co-founded Plan 9, Pakistan's first technology incubator, and initiated the PITB flagship program, providing a boost to employment opportunities in the IT sector. Building sustainable business models like Seed Ventures that has supported over 100 social enterprises in Pakistan would help to create employment opportunities for underprivileged individuals as well. Economic collapses. Pakistan grapples with a complex web of economic challenges. As you may see in these data trends by the World Bank, GDP growth rate reached an appreciable 6.5% in 2021, but declined down to 6.2% the next year. Similarly, inflation rates dropped down to 2.9% in 2015, but rocketed back to 20% in 2022. Due to persistent trade imbalances and a low tax to GDP ratio, the repeated need of loans has pushed Pakistan under a mountain of international debt, amounting to over $1.2 billion US, badly affecting our economic stature. So to envision a thriving Pakistan, creating a strong economy obviously is the foundation that we need to strive for. Entrepreneurial organizations like the Indus Entrepreneurs should be dedicated to providing financial literacy programs to small businesses and connecting them with angel investors. Moreover, we need to promote our local goods and brands to reduce the strain on import budgets and improve areas like tourism, mineral extraction, and energy generation that can contribute to our capital growth greatly. Furthermore, offering accelerator programs that offer mentorship, market research insights, and access to expensive resources like machinery would jumpstart many industrial sectors, as seen with the Jazz Accelerate program. We need to follow the footsteps of people like Abdurazak Dawood, who linked rural artisans with international buyers through buyer seller conferences, trade exhibitions, and cultural events, playing his role in positively pushing our economy. Energy crisis. Politics and provincial rivalries interfere consistently with our policies and prospects regarding energy resources. The conflict over the construction of Kalabagh Dam and the Karachi are a few prominent examples in this regard. The energy generation shortfall repeats itself every time such a dispute occurs. This is what leads to heavy reliance on independent power producers, which burdenize our foreign exchange reserves. Furthermore, in an era, load shedding became almost non-existent, but a bar chart of recent years shows that our power generation is unable to meet with the required demand. So to make Pakistan more brighter in terms of energy, we need to adopt energy-saving technologies and schemes like carpooling, HVAC controls, piezoelectric motors, and the use of public transport. One sustainable solution is focusing on renewable energy sources like wind, geothermal, tidal, and solar energies, which require an initial high investment for establishment, but are easy to maintain. These will not only help in countering the energy crisis, but will also reduce our dependence on the costly IPPs. At our individual levels, we must make it a habit to turn off fans and lights while leaving our rooms, because these small steps, they do count. Inconsistent foreign policies. Pakistan's stances in international affairs have often put a deep wedge in our relationship with other countries. The switching of blocs during the Cold War, our standing in the Ukraine crisis, and generally throughout our history on global problems, has prevented us from making a prominent position in the international forum. This is a primary reason why our relationship with many countries deteriorated in the past and are still worsening. So we as Pakistanis need to rethink of our standings in the foreign policies and international forum and our reputation of being hired guns anywhere. And to do so, we need visionary, far-sighted leaders who can reshape our independent foreign policy for the longer run. We need to mobilize the international Pakistani students and diaspora to be our ambassadors. And we Abdalians ourselves should use the platform of Brown Square to portray a better image of Pakistan in events like the upcoming international conference in Kenya. We also need to engage international propaganda firms to portray our better say in the Committee of Nations. Gentlemen, we all complain about how bad the conditions of our country is, do we not? But who really is to blame for it? All of us. Turning our faces away from a problem doesn't mean there is none. As we keep neglecting our responsibilities to our nation, these challenges will keep coming back, striking every time, getting worse on every return. So it is up to us to change things that many fail to do so, because if we do not clean this mess of ours, no one from outside is going to do that for us. So it is time that we stop looking back, stop complaining, and pace forwards towards building a Pakistan envisioned by the man whose portrait hangs to my right. I thank you all for your patient listening.